So planning to start out with this new YouTube series on my channel where I'm going to be talking about 5 recommendations or 5 documentary recommendations from Netflix that you must watch for the coming month. What I mean by that is I'm going to be publishing this video, let's say somewhere in the beginning of August, which is where we are sitting at right now, the month of August. And I'm going to recommend some 5 documentaries from Netflix specifically that you can watch, which I highly recommend. So it's a little bit of a different kind of a video from the videos that I do, so I thought I'll create a YouTube series on it and I'll do it every month. So it'll be a monthly video that I will be putting out in the video series. So you get the gist. And I am terrible. I'm like really bad at coming up with names for YouTube video series. I feel like I always come up with the longest name, which is so mouthful, so not catchy. So if you feel like you can come up with a better name, please do comment in the comment section and let me know. If it's not too late to change it, I will. But for now, I'm just going to call it top 5 must-watch Netflix documentaries. So why even this new series? Why do I want to start this new series on my YouTube channel where I'm going to recommend 5 new documentaries every single month to you? It's an easy answer. I want to do it because, one, I love documentaries. Like, I can binge watch on any kind of docuseries always. Like, I'm always up for it. I think it's such a great, and the second reason is it's such a great way to entertain yourself, but at the same time gain a lot of knowledge about the world around you. So as an example, like, if you are someone who really loves politics and you're really well informed about a specific country's politics, let's say you follow the American politics, you might just know everything in and out about the American politics, but what about other things? I feel like documentaries are a quick-ish way to be able to gather that kind of information. And if you really want to get in-depth knowledge, then you can go ahead and read more about it. But it's just an entertaining way, and the format of docuseries is so entertaining. And these days there's some really good documentary series. Like, I feel like watching one now. I just love documentaries and I love docuseries that are on Netflix, and that's why I think I want to do this YouTube channel. I'm so excited to do this YouTube series on my channel because I feel like every month I can share 5 different documentaries that I watched and I absolutely loved. And of course, I'm not trained in movies, I'm not trained in documentary filmmaking or anything like that, so I'm not going to be providing any kind of, it's not based, whatever I'm going to be saying is not based on any kind of technical knowledge, but it's more as a viewer what I would recommend, what I found really interesting. And that's going to be the perspective that I'm going to be obviously sharing with you guys. So that's the reason I think I want to do this series. I hope you'll like it though. So let's get into the 5 recommendations for the month of August that I have for you. The first one being Wild Wild Country, and this is a docu-series which is available on Netflix. What do I say about this documentary? I have to say something because I'm making a video, but it is just amazing. It's such an eye-opener. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Osho or Osho. Whenever I say Osho, I'm corrected by a lot of my friends. They say the right way to pronounce it is Osho, so we'll go with Osho. Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, or he was even popularly known as Acharya Rajneesh. He was actually not born with that name. It was an adoptive name. He adopted that name and he popularized the spiritual movement, the Rajneesh movement, you know. And it did take the United States by a storm. His ideologies, his preaching was so different from anything the world had ever heard before that he just grew, and his people call it a cult movement. Some people think he was one of the greatest spiritual leaders. Whatever it is, you can have your own take on it, and I by no means am someone who can say this or that. I mean, I was very curious about him, and that's why I went and watched this docu-series, and I highly recommend it to you as well if you have that curiosity about him, because he was someone who was who started out his movement and his spiritual teachings. He started out teaching about what he felt and his ideologies in India. He was first established in Mumbai, Bombay then, and then he moved to Pune, and then during a government formation where a change in the government, political party change where Morarji Desai came into power, he actually had to close down the construction of his ashram and move to the United States. 1970s is when he moved to the United States, and his as some people call it, the cult movement, the ashram became so popular. So just the docuseries gives you a glimpse into what was going on, the teachings that happened, the just the different things that happened in that ashram. It is so interesting to watch it because I have never been a part of any kind of cult movement, and I don't know if I would ever want to be, but at the same time, I'm very curious what happens. Like, why was he such a popular spiritual leader? What was happening? He later on in his later life, because of a lot of different reasons, he had to move out of United States. So he was asked to move out of the US, and then he was rejected visa to 21 countries, post which he moved back to India, and he moved to Pune again in India, and that's where he is believed to have died. But if you are someone who's curious about what goes on in different spiritual leaders and spiritual people's lives, also about just cult movements, and one of the most popular cult movements by far, which took the whole of United States by storm, I would say a lot of cult following that he garnered, I would highly recommend this docuseries to you. So the first recommendation on the spy-part list is Wild Wild Country. So the second one on the list that I want to talk about is Bucharest. It's actually an amazing documentary. It's a docuseries, it's an expose into the world of performance-enhancing drugs that have been administered to a lot of Russian athletes. So a cover-up in a sense, like how Russia for years and years, it's believed decades, has been covering up the positives that come out of the tests for these athletes. So it's a really nice expose documentary, geopolitical thriller. It just talks about an institution that millions of athletes for many years have believed in, and how systemic mechanized cover-ups have been happening in Russia. So if you are interested in something which is thrilling and which is about finding out and trying to, like exposés or something, I absolutely loved it and I highly recommend it. So the third docuseries that I have on this list is The Last Dance. The Last Dance is about Michael Jordan, and it's also about Chicago Bulls. So it's about the rise of Chicago Bulls in 1990s. People say 1990s was the era of Chicago Bulls in basketball, the game of basketball. Before I even talk about this docuseries, I want to make clear that I'm absolutely not a basketball fan. I've never really followed the game. I don't know much about the game. I don't know much about the players. The only association I have with the game is I played it when I was young. When I was in school, I learned to play it and I sucked at it. Sucked at it big time. My layups were terrible. The only thing I could probably do was shoot baskets, and that would have to be really focused. By that time, someone else would just come and take away the ball. Why I really recommend this docuseries is because even as someone who's not really followed basketball, who's not followed the game, not followed the players, this docuseries just is an eye-opener to the competitive world of basketball. It talks about a great athlete and his journey. So Michael Jordan's journey from the beginning to the end, what a great journey it has been, one of grit, one of determination, one of perseverance, one of extreme focus. What I took away personally, because I'm not a basketball fan or anything like that, what I took away is, on a personal level, I feel like every career has its trajectory in a way. When you start off, it's really about yourself. You want to be the one shining, be it in the basketball court, if you're playing basketball, or if you're in the corporate career, you want to just be talking about your skills. You want to be all about my skills. I did this presentation. You have challenges delegating. You have challenges empowering. You have challenges really drawing the focus to someone else and being appreciative of your team's efforts. But as you grow in your career trajectory, the real leader, the true leader, is really one who's able to delegate, form a team who he or she trusts, who he or she or they trust, and then able to actually empower that team to do better. So even if they are missing out from that picture, so let's say there is a meeting, the sign of a true leader is where they're able to let the team go, let the team walk ahead, and without the presence of that leader, the team still does as good as a job as it would if the leader was present. So that's really what it taught me, because when I go back and I think about my own personal career trajectory, that's where I'm headed, and that's where I'm going. Every day you learn and you understand, okay, when you're starting out your career, it's really just about talking about yourself, talking about your skill sets, shooting that basket, really doing that layup, doing everything, doing it all. But that's not when you are a real seasoned player. That's not when you're a true corporate person or a true leader. So yeah, that's what I took away. I'll highly recommend this docuseries to anyone who's a basketball fan for sure. I'm sure you've probably even watched it already. And if you're not, do watch it. It's something that you will love. The fourth docuseries that I want to talk about today is Beyond All Boundaries. And it's an Indian docuseries, and it is about just the craze of cricket. You know, like if you have lived in India, or if you've even traveled to India for a short period of time, you will know the craze of cricket in India. I mean, it's inevitable to be able to just never experience that if you have been in India. People around the block, people in any household talk, live, breathe, dream, everything cricket. India is a country that follows cricket like a religion. So this documentary was very interesting. I'm also not a very big cricket fan. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of hate for this comment that I just made, but it's a great sport. But I haven't really followed cricket all that much. Obviously, I have watched some of them. Being an Indian, I have watched some of the more interesting games like the India-Pakistan game or just the World Cup or whatever. But this documentary talks to the 2011, where the year 2011, where India actually won the World Cup. It was also the last year that Tendulkar played, and after that he retired. He put in his resignation. So it's an interesting docuseries because it has three main people in the documentary. It talks about one girl who's a girl player, who's a female cricketer, and obviously female cricket or women's cricket is not as watched as a male cricket in India. I mean, if you think about cricket, you automatically start thinking of male cricketers such as Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli or whatever, but you never really think of women cricketers and her struggles, how much she really wants it, but the impediments. It also talks, her name is Aksha, and then it also talks about Prithvi Shaw, who's actually a cricketer now. So when in 2011 he was a child, so they show him and all the struggles. He's really, really good at cricket. So his father's taken this leap of faith and has come to Mumbai for his practice and given up his own dreams and aspirations because he's living through his child now, and he's brought Prithvi and he's doing everything it can take possibly out of him to make Prithvi a cricketer, which recently I checked when I watched this docuseries. I was trying to find out what's happened to these people, where did they end up. I really was very curious to know, and I found out that Prithvi Shaw is actually a cricketer. He's suspended for a bit, but he's been playing cricket now. And then the third is Sudhir. He's a super fan. He's actually a super fan. He's followed wherever India has played. He goes on his cycle. He travels all the way. For me personally, this documentary was well worth it because of this, because of Sudhir, the super fan. I have in my life never known anybody who has such passion for someone or for a game and for some particular player. So he absolutely is, he claims to be the biggest fan of Sachin Tendulkar, and he has gone and watched every game that Sachin has played, and he just travels on a cycle. What I found really interesting, I mean, out of all the people, I'll remember his story, I'll remember him, and this docuseries was well worth it for me to watch because of him, because just to see that true passion, just to be able to see someone who, without any real expectation, he has, when you watch this documentary, this series, you just understand the simplicity in him. It also is a very cultural reflection where thousands and I should say millions and millions of people, billions of people are actually just, as I said, cricket, they live, breathe, dream cricket as a religion. And this person, all he wants to do is just go and support India. So that's the fourth one on my list, and I highly recommend it for you to watch, and especially if you're from India, do give it a watch. The fifth one that I have on this list, and the final one that I have on this list, is Daughters of Destiny. This is again a Netflix documentary, and it is about a school that Dr. Abraham, who's actually of Indian descent. So he grew up in India, he studied in India, and then he had a brief stint in the Indian Army. After that, he leaves for the United States, he studies further there, and all through he's carrying a dream, that is of being able to do something for his home country, which is India, and be able to uplift certain families and decrease the amount of poverty that exists in India. And so he has a successful career, he's able to have a successful career in the United States, he's able to establish himself as a successful business person, he's then also able to become an entrepreneur and sell his company, he makes some money out of it, and true to himself, he actually moves back to India and he establishes the school. So this docuseries is directed by a filmmaker called Vanessa. She is Vanessa Roth. She's actually an Oscar-winning filmmaker, and for a span of 7 years, I believe, she follows these girls. Girls where she's able to, understand what changes the school that Dr. Abraham has, established. What changes does it bring to their lives? These girls are followed through the 7 years, so their journey from the start to the end. So this docuseries really left me with a sense of inspiration. I felt really inspired and a sense of victory, because I had been following these girls the journey of 7 years, and I was rooting for them while watching this docuseries. I just felt like, yes, you can do it. And when they do it, when they go out in the big bad world and they make it and they're able to get an education with the best of universities, and then after that graduate and do such amazing things and do things that otherwise they probably wouldn't have been able to, given the fact that they came from the backgrounds that they did. I was rooting for them and I felt a sense of victory, and I hope that is what you take away as well. I hope this docuseries is able to inspire you like it did inspire me. So that was my 5 docuseries list. I will come back with another list in September. This is for the month of August. I'll come back in September with another list. Till then, stay inside, stay safe, watch these documentaries, and let me know if you liked any of them, and if you have any other recommendations or anything, let me know. Do subscribe to my channel if you want to hit the bell notification button. I look forward to another video with you very soon. Bye.